Additional, Malik.
Well, I mean, the very fact that Muslims want Sharia law to be imposed upon non-Muslims is I think that that's probably one of the worst myths, just simply because Muslims who are leaving their own countries already are fed up with the systems there, because they know that Islamic law is not applied correctly. It's never been applied correctly for the last, I don't know how many centuries. And this is a serious problem in the Muslim world already. They are not free in those countries. They live under dictatorships for the most part. Very rarely a government is actually applying the law correctly. They don't have any, when they come to the US or other Western countries, they don't have any presumptions or assumptions that there should be any kind of Islamic law here. In fact, many Muslims actually believe, if you ask them, that the way the systems are set up in the Western countries are more close to Islamic law than they are in the Muslim world, simply because of the way the court systems and the justice system work. Islamic law is just vast. I think the only, I think it can be compared to American U.S. law. It is just a very, very vast area of detailed day-to-day living issues, as well as criminal, as well as any kind you could talk about. And so for Muslims knowing full well that that's just not done. That's just not how the Muslim world is. Nobody follows those laws the way they should have been entering another time period. So this is just not the case. There are some small cases that Muslims deal with within their own communities for their own benefits, but it's just not true. Islam does not support democracy.
Certainly, absolutely. Again, this is totally contrary to what some people have been propagating. It's very much in sync with democracy. There's no question about that. In fact, if you go into early Islamic history, you'll find that some of the elections that actually took place were, it was nothing but democratic. The process was completely democratic. So, again, this is a misnomer, it's a misconception, it's unfortunate that this has been floating around.
There's one exception I do, that fundamentalists in any of the three major religions misconstrue the scripture to suit their needs. Okay? And also accept the fact that the more cross-culture understanding we have, the better. Okay, accept those two things. What is the solution to the current apparent rise in violence that's taking place, not just in the Mideast, but spreading? What is the best method to approach that?
It's the long...
Other than carpet bombs.
Okay, right. Yes. Yeah. I fully understand. We fully understand what the situation is. And it's a very legitimate, it's a very pertinent question that requires a lot of thought over here. And, we don't have a whole lot of time like that. I'm not talking about us. We're talking about how to develop the plan and procedure for ethics. Education is one key thing. If you look at Afghanistan or the northwest part of Pakistan, education is really at the rate of literacy extremely low. There are people who are working on this particular problem. But when you have the rate of literacy pathetically low, it creates a huge problem. Anjum mentioned the fact that these people, they don't know they don't know Arabic. It's some Mudra religious figure who's actually, propounding certain thing. It's coming out of his head. He does not have a clear understanding. That is where we have to start. That is the root cause, I think. So that's one issue. The other thing is that the scholars, the onus falls upon them. I'm talking about the Muslim scholars. And there are some. Dr. Hashmi, for instance, he is the Dean of Sharia in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia. He does an excellent job. And he provides, solutions. And I wish people would read his book. I'm talking about within the Muslim world. That has got to be done. Without education, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, and I think it's both ways. So I think that the more Americans and more Westerners who are trying to learn about those cultures. But again, the more Muslims who are learning about the other cultures, I know in Saudi Arabia, there's a professor of Sharia at one of the top universities there, and he actually just opened up something called the Western Studies Institute, where he does a program, I believe, at Temple University in Pennsylvania. I think that was his alma mater, where he actually brings students with the credentials of the State Department to come and learn about the United States also. So these kinds of intercultural, like you said, training and education is just absolutely critical. And the Muslims themselves within have to be better trained on their own religion.